There was a time when I thought rebuilding my life was entirely about me, my goals, my future, my recovery, my plans, my next chapter. And while those things were important, I eventually realized something. Rebuilding wasn't just about me. There were other people watching, other people affected by my choices, other people depending on me to keep moving forward, my children. During some of the most difficult seasons of my life, there were days when I felt exhausted, not physically, emotionally, the kind of exhaustion that comes from carrying uncertainty, the kind of exhaustion that comes from trying to figure out what your future looks like when the picture you once had no longer exists. Some days I felt discouraged. Some days I questioned myself. Some days I wondered if I was making progress at all. And yet every day, there they were, my children, living their lives, growing, learning, laughing, asking questions, needing guidance, needing presence, needing a parent. And that's when I began learning a lesson I didn't expect. Children don't care as much about your circumstances as you think they do. They care about your presence. They care that you're there. They care that you're listening. They care that you show up. Looking back, I think I spent too much time worrying about whether I was doing enough, whether I was successful enough, whether I was rebuilding fast enough, whether I had all the answers. But children have a way of simplifying life, a conversation, a walk, a shared meal, a laugh, a moment of attention. To them, those things matter. And through those simple moments, I started to understand something. Parenthood wasn't another burden I had to carry while rebuilding. It was one of the reasons I kept rebuilding. My children gave me perspective. When I became overwhelmed by my problems, they reminded me that life was still happening. When I became focused on what I'd lost, they reminded me of what I still had. When I became discouraged about the future, they reminded me that the future was already sitting right in front of me. I don't think they knew they were teaching me these lessons. Children rarely do. Sometimes they teach simply by being themselves. One lesson in particular changed the way I thought about success. For years, like many people, I thought success was mostly about achievement, building, earning, accomplishing, reaching goals. And while those things still matter, my definition began to change. I started realizing that success is also about presence, being available, being engaged, being intentional, being someone your children can count on. That shift changed me, because suddenly success wasn't something waiting for me somewhere in the future. It became something I could practice every day, a conversation, a promise kept, an afternoon spent together, a moment of genuine attention. Those things mattered. More than I had realized, and perhaps most importantly, parenthood gave me purpose on the days when motivation was nowhere to be found. Motivation comes and goes. Purpose stays. There were days when I didn't feel motivated, days when I didn't feel confident, days when I wasn't sure what the future would look like. But purpose kept me moving. Purpose reminded me that quitting wasn't an option. Purpose reminded me that people were counting on me. Purpose reminded me that my story wasn't just about me anymore. And maybe that's one of the most important lessons I've learned. Sometimes we keep going because we're inspired. Other times we keep going because we have a reason, a responsibility, a purpose, a commitment larger than ourselves. For me, parenthood became part of that purpose, not because I was trying to be perfect, far from it, but because every day gave me another opportunity to show up, and showing up matters. Today, I still don't have all the answers. I still make mistakes. I still have things I'm working on. But one thing I know for certain is this. My children taught me that rebuilding isn't about becoming perfect. It's about becoming present. It's about continuing to grow. It's about continuing to learn. It's about continuing to show up. Even on the difficult days, especially on the difficult days. And if you're listening to this while navigating your own chapter 2, I want to leave you with a question. Who are you rebuilding for? Because sometimes the answer to that question becomes the very thing that keeps you moving forward. What I didn't realize at the time was that these lessons were preparing me for something else, a moment I hadn't experienced in a very long time, a moment when I would finally begin feeling like myself again. And that's the story I'll share in the next chapter. Thank you for listening, and remember, your story isn't over. You're still writing it.